Hi, I'm Tracy Presley, El Paso's brain coach and a psychotherapist who uses neuroscience, biology, and psychology for better mental health. Today, I'm going to teach you a technique to help manage stress, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and even intrusive thoughts. I'm going to teach you a coping skill called the 5 by 5. Coping skills are techniques or tools or strategies and even behaviors that we use in order to help manage stress, depression, challenging situations, intrusive thoughts when we're not feeling well inside of our mind or our body. And when we practice this coping skill, we will be able to reduce our anxiety. So to get very technical, when we are in intrusive thought thinking, for example, I'm running late to work. Pretend I'm driving. I'm running late to work, or I'm having a horrible meeting today and I know I'm going to get in trouble at work, or there's that coworker that I just don't get along with and I'm really stressed out seeing them again, or my kids said something really mean to me today, or I'm going through a divorce and I'm having these thoughts about I'm not good enough. I don't feel well. I don't feel like going to work. I just want to lay in bed and I don't want to eat. I don't want to be facing the day. So when we have these thoughts in different situations, obviously it's very unpleasant, but there are many things that we can do to get us out of that thinking. And again, to be technical, that's called high brain beta thinking. Beta waves are a brain wave. Right now we are in beta. But when we're having a lot of anxiety and those ruminating thoughts or those racing thoughts in our brain, those are at high beta. And the goal is to at least bring our brain down to regular beta or to low beta. When we do meditation and other techniques, that'll bring us down into alpha and or theta. That's another tutorial for another time. For now, it suffices just to know that we have high beta thinking, and that leads into agitation. And that agitation we feel in our brain also goes into our body. That's where we sometimes get the heart palpitations, the quick breathing, the chest breathing, maybe some shaking. Some people get sweaty palms or sweaty feet. I know when I've had a panic attack, I've had like my arm has gone numb, or my hands go numb, or I can't feel my arm. That's called depersonalization, by the way. What else are some symptoms of anxiety? Shaking. Your whole body, not just your hands, your whole body shaking. So we can use different techniques like this 5-4-3-2-1 technique, and that's going to reduce the anxiety that we're feeling because our mind cannot have two thoughts at the same time. So if we're thinking about these anxiety thoughts and then we shift into another pattern of thinking, then we're not thinking about those anxiety thoughts. So again, this is going to take some practice, but just be kind, be aware, and be mindful of yourself that you're learning this. So keep practicing. Anyways, the technique is it's called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, but I'm going to change that around a little bit. And there's a couple of reasons I'm changing it. So we're calling it the 5 by 5 technique. And it's simply thinking of the 5 senses, naming 5 things that you hear, 5 things that you feel, 5 things that you see, 5 things that you taste, 5 things that you smell. So when we get to the taste and to the smell portion of this, remember those tastes and smells are not always available, but this is precisely why I changed it from the 5-4-3-2-1, because we're forcing our brain to shift into another thought pattern of, what smells do I know? Like popcorn or grapes or chocolate. What smells do I know? Like fried French fries or perfumes or soaps or lotions. And so that thought diversion of really having to dig in deep and think of something that you smell, that you know the smell of and you know the taste of, really takes your brain into a different pathway from the anxiety thinking. So we're going to practice. I'm going to pretend that I'm driving. And I'm going to be in my car and I'm driving on the freeway and I start to feel the anxiety of the day. of the morning, perhaps. Maybe I forgot to pack my lunch. My kids were running late to school. I'm running late to work, or I have a meeting with somebody that I'm not really excited about, or I there's somebody at the office I don't get along well with, or my husband and I are divorcing, or somebody I know died. So we've got all this pressure on us, and I feel that heart palpitation, and I'm starting to breathe heavy, and I'm starting to get a little sweaty and maybe even a little shaky, and maybe I have some depression as well, and I'm starting to go into those thought patterns of I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, I'm worthless, I don't deserve this. I should just be at home and just stay in bed and not even go on with the day, right? Those are pretty severe thoughts. So a lot of times we have to go on with our day. So I'm going to start doing the 5x5 technique. I'm going to think to myself, okay, 5x5. I've been practicing it, and I've got this. Okay. So I'm driving, I get anxiety, and I start thinking 5 things that I feel. I feel my hands on the driving wheel. I feel my foot pushing the gas pedal. I feel clothes on my body. I feel the hair on my face. I feel my bum on the seat. I think that was 5. And it doesn't really matter. The goal is if you do more than 5, that's perfectly fine. The goal is to get your mind from thinking about those thoughts, right? It's to divert your mind, your thinking patterns. So then the next one would be, I see. Okay, 5 things that I see. Okay, breathe. 5 things that I see. I see my car. I see the hood of my car. I see my windshield. I see my steering wheel. I see my radio. I see other cars in front of me. I see the mountains. I see the sky. I know that was over 5, but you get the idea. 5 things. The next is 5 things that I hear. Okay, I hear my car's engine. I hear the noises outside of my car. I hear a siren. You get the idea. I'm going to explain a little bit further with the taste and the smell. So when you get to the taste and the smell, you might taste, so I'll demonstrate. I taste my breath. I taste the toothpaste. I taste the coffee I just had. I taste the breakfast that I had. Now, if you can't imagine that, then think of things that you can imagine. Like, I know what popcorn tastes like. I know what grapes taste like. I know what grape bubblegum tastes like. I know what chocolate tastes like. Then, same thing with the smell. I smell my car. I smell my perfume. I smell the exhaust from other cars. If you can't smell immediately 5 things in your surroundings, then imagine something that you smell. I know what popcorn from the movie theater smells like. I know what French fries smell like. I know what Whataburger smells like. I know what my friend's perfume smells like. Think of things that you know the smell and remember that. So I'm going to emphasize the practice part of this. It's very difficult to just do this immediately when you're in a state of anxiety or state of stress or depression. It's very difficult to just think or say your way out of this. It takes practice. My suggestion is to have you practice this every day, morning and night. So practice it once in the morning when you wake up or as you're brushing your teeth. Practice it maybe on your drive to work. Practice it at night before you go to sleep, just so that you get the hang of what things that you can say to yourself or what things you can imagine. When we're imagining things, which is why I changed it from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, because the imagination part of it is a very important component to divert our attention. This part of our brain is very unique to human beings. It's called the ventral medial prefrontal cortex. It's part of the brain that accesses the visualization and imagination part of our brain. So when you look at that brain in a SPECT scan, or when we're measuring our brain, it lights up like a Christmas tree, because we're accessing all of the available blood flow. Well, not all of it, but a lot of the blood flow, and our neurons are firing together to use that imagination and that visualization. So when we're able to use that imagination and visualization and that observation, then we're diverting our attention from the anxiety thoughts and from the depression thoughts or the stress thoughts to the moment. And it's also called mindfulness. We're being very mindful about what we have in our present moment. So that's why it's really important. It can be very important to use our imagination for the taste and for the smell part. Even if you have to use imagination for all five senses, because you could be in a place where there's really not a lot of stimuli around. So that's okay. Use your imagination. So to recap, this is a coping skill called 5x5. Now, I want to take this exercise to another level. Practice that first one, get the hang of it, and then let's take it to another level. Or if you want to take it all to a whole nother level while you're practicing, that's fine too. So this next level is we're adding a brain exercise and a vagal nerve exercise. So this is the vagus nerve. It goes throughout our whole body, and the vagus nerve is very important in regulating our senses, the senses in our body. It's connected to our brain, to our limbic system, to the brainstem, goes down our body, all of our body, connected to all of our organs. So when we're feeling nervous, that's what gives us that nausea or the heart palpitating. The signals from our brain are going down the vagus nerve and causing this sympathetic nervous system response. So when we massage or access or stimulate the vagus nerve, we're initiating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of our autonomic nervous system that's responsible for the rest and digest or calmness that we feel in our body. Sympathetic nervous system is the anxiety and the fight, flight, freeze, faint, or fawn response that we have when we're stressed. So when we say this out loud, and if we feel this vibration here in our chest and in our ears, we're stimulating our vagus nerve to start feeling calmer. Remember, I was talking about the brain waves. We're starting to bring those brain waves down, and our nervous system, we're calming our nervous system down. And then the next way I want you to say it. So practice that, the 5-5-5, saying it out loud. Okay, 5 things you feel, 5 things you see, 5 things you taste, smell. I think I got them all. Anyways, the next set, 5-5-5 again, you're going to whisper it. And it's not just an ordinary whisper. It's a very purposeful whisper. But this whisper is going to also be massaging and stimulating our vagus nerve. And so this whisper is done like this. Pretend this is your sunglasses, and you go like this to clean your sunglasses, right? We've all done that. Or our phone, maybe. Clean your phone like that. So that is how I want you to whisper. So I'll demonstrate. I feel the clothes on my body. I feel the shoes on my feet. See how I'm very strong, purposeful whisper, and that's massaging the vagus nerve in a different way, but we're initiating that parasympathetic nervous system response. And the next one is going to be that. Again, you do the 5-5-5 like that in the whisper, and then the next one is going to be you're going to stay quiet and you're just going to think it. I'll demonstrate. Okay. You can do that with your eyes closed if it's conducive to your practice, or you do it with your eyes open while you are driving or doing other things in the yard or at work. So it's just doing the 5-by-5 exactly the way you've been practicing, saying it and whispering it, but in your head. We're accessing the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which is the one that I spoke about when you're imagining and you're visualizing. It is strengthening that part of our brain so that we can bring the brain waves down from that high alpha thinking and that high alpha feeling in our body. Just bring it down so that we feel better biologically in our body. So practice this every morning, every night. Say it loudly, whisper it with purpose, and then imagine it in your brain. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Tracy Presley with the Brain Coaching and Psychotherapy Place here in El Paso, Texas. Remember, this is for emotional resilience, mental resilience, spiritual resilience, and physical resilience. See you next time.